What if a police chase left an elderly woman broken? What if they refused to admit their fault? In Texas, 82-year-old Clara Evans faced a devastating injury, but her community lifted her up with love. Stay tuned for a story of family devotion, betrayal, and a heartwarming path to justice. In the small suburb of Cedar Hollow, Texas, the sun beat down on sprawling fields. The scent of fresh earth lingered in the air. Here, Clara Evans had lived for over 5 decades. She was an 82-year-old, widow with a heart full of love. Clara had bought her $230,000 farmhouse with her late husband in 1968. It was a humble home, but it held her greatest joy, her garden. On the hot afternoon of May 12, 2028, Clara tended to her vegetable garden. She wore her straw hat, humming an old hymn. The garden was her lifeline. It provided food for her and her orphaned grandson, 10-year-old Tommy. Clara had raised Tommy since his parents died in a car accident. She pulled a carrot from the soil. Its crunch echoed as she smiled. "This'll be good for Tommy's stew," she said softly. The sound of cicadas buzzed in the distance. Cedar Hollow was usually quiet, but that day, chaos descended. A police chase roared through the neighborhood. They were pursuing a drug dealer who had fled a sting operation. Sirens blared loudly. Tires screeched on the asphalt. Clara looked up, startled. Her hands froze in the dirt. A police cruiser sped toward her property. It swerved to cut off the dealer's car. The cruiser skidded across Clara's yard. It crashed into her garden, flattening rows of carrots and tomatoes. Clara tried to stand, but the shock made her stumble. She fell hard on the ground. A sharp pain shot through her leg. She screamed as her bones snapped. The garden was a mess of tire tracks and crushed plants. The officers leapt out of the cruiser. Their boots crunched on the broken vegetables. The lead officer, 37-year-old Travis Coleman, saw Clara writhing in pain. "Ma'am, are you hurt?" he asked. His voice was tense. Clara's voice trembled. "My leg. I can't move it," she cried. Tears streamed down her face. "And my garden. It's all I have for Tommy." The pain in her leg was excruciating. Coleman called for an ambulance. The static crackled on his radio. "We've got an injured civilian. Send help," he said. His tone was rushed. The drug dealer was apprehended down the street. Neighbors ran out of their homes. They gasped at the sight of the ruined garden. Some knelt beside Clara. Her cries grew softer. The pain overwhelmed her. The ambulance arrived. Quickly. Paramedics lifted Clara onto a stretcher. Her leg was swollen and bent at an odd angle. "It's a bad fracture," one paramedic said. His voice was calm. Clara's eyes stayed on the garden. "Tommy, he won't have enough to eat," she whispered. Her voice broke. She was taken to the hospital. The crushed vegetables lay scattered in the dirt. At the hospital, Clara lay in a sterile bed. Her leg was in a cast, and surgery was scheduled. The pain was numbed, but her heart was heavy. She thought of Tommy. The garden was how she fed him, how she taught him to love the earth. "He'll go hungry," she whispered to herself. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She remembered the first time Tommy planted a seed. His little hands were so proud. Now, it was all gone. The beeping of the hospital monitor echoed her sorrow. Back in Cedar Hollow, the Homeowners Association stepped in. The HOA president, 50-year-old Maria Sanchez, had known Clara for years. Maria's son often played with Tommy. A neighbor's security camera had captured the entire incident. The footage showed the cruiser tearing through the garden. It showed Clara falling in agony. But Officer Coleman denied responsibility. She tripped on her own, he claimed. His voice was cold. "We didn't cause her injury." Maria's eyes flashed with anger. She held the camera footage tightly. "Clara doesn't deserve this," she said to the HOA board. Her voice was fierce. "She's given everything for that boy." The board agreed to fight for Clara. They hired a lawyer to sue the police department. The rustle of legal documents filled their meeting room. Clara's struggle became their cause. The community would stand by her. The trial took place in a local courthouse. Residents packed the gallery. Their footsteps echoed on the wooden floor. Clara sat in a wheelchair. Her leg was still in a cast. Her eyes were tired but determined. The lawyer played the camera footage. The video filled the screen. It showed the cruiser destroying the garden. It showed Clara's painful fall. Murmurs of shock filled the courtroom. The evidence was clear. Officer Coleman took the stand. He shifted nervously. "I didn't see her fall," he lied. His voice wavered. The judge's gaze was sharp. "The footage contradicts your statement," she said. Her tone was firm. The lawyer pressed further. "You saw Mrs. Evans in pain. Why, didn't you take responsibility?" he asked. Coleman hesitated. I was focused on the suspect," he said. The courtroom buzzed with disbelief. Clara spoke next. Her voice trembled as she gripped the wheelchair. "That garden wasn't just food. It was hope for my Tommy," she said. Tears streamed down her face. "I raised him there, taught him to grow, to live." She held up a photo of Tommy holding a carrot, smiling brightly. "Now he'll go hungry. Because of this." The courtroom fell silent. Jurors dabbed their eyes. Maria squeezed Clara's hand. The judge delivered her verdict. Her gavel slammed down with a resounding thud. "Officer Coleman, you are guilty of reckless endangerment," she declared. Her voice boomed. "You caused harm and lied about it." Coleman was forced to admit his guilt. He was fired from the police force. The department was ordered to pay Clara $8,000 in damages. The courtroom erupted in cheers. Clara's neighbors clapped for her. Clara returned home after weeks in the hospital. Her leg was healing, but the garden remained a wreck. She sat in her wheelchair, staring at the ruined soil. Tommy ran to her side. "Grandma, are you okay?" he asked. His voice was small. Clara hugged him tightly. "We'll be okay, sweet boy," she said. Her voice was soft, but her heart ached. She couldn't plant with a broken leg. Maria and the HOA had a plan. They gathered the neighbors for a special project. "We're fixing Clara's garden," Maria announced. Her voice was warm. The community showed up with shovels and seeds. They worked under the Texas sun. The sound of laughter filled the air. They cleared the debris and planted new vegetables. Carrots, tomatoes, and beans sprouted in neat rows. The neighbors weren't done. They organized a fundraiser to help Clara. "She shouldn't have to worry," Maria said. Her voice was kind. They raised enough to hire a gardener for the season. The gardener would tend the crops while Clara healed. Tommy helped plant the first seed. His little hands patted the soil. "This is for you, Grandma," he said. His smile was bright. Clara's eyes filled with tears of gratitude. Clara watched, her garden grow from her porch. The vegetables flourished under the gardener's care. Tommy ran through the rows, laughing. "Look, Grandma, we have carrots again," he shouted. Clara smiled through her tears. The community had given her more than a garden. They had given her hope. Cedar Hollow became a symbol of love and justice. Clara held Tommy close. The warmth of her neighbors healed her heart. And so, a ruined garden became a battle for justice in Cedar Hollow, Texas. Clara Evans found strength through her community's love. How would you help a struggling neighbor? What do you think? Should communities always protect the vulnerable? Share your thoughts. Join us next time for another tale of justice. Until then, Keep standing up for what's right. Thank you for listening.